Good day and welcome back to Elementary 72 Gaming. Now, for today, I'm actually going to do something a little bit crazy. I'm actually going to explain one of the craziest things in the game so far, and that is the big argument between people about whether or not mining with circulation rigs or mining with efficiency rigs is better. And there is a reason for both being highly effective. I already have all the times that I need to give you what you're going to have on your tiles, and I'm going to actually explain each one of them to you and why they work out so well. So in the start, if you're going with efficiency rigs, the first efficiency rig gives you a 30% reduction at tier 3. Now obviously tier 4 isn't available and you can't really do much more than that. So at that point you are going to be minusing 54 seconds from your complete time. So minus 54 from 180 gives you 126 seconds. Now 126 seconds isn't crazy, right? So 126 and sorry, you're doing 600, that's your base level, divide by 126 seconds. That tells you how much you harvest in a second on your base. You harvest 4.76 per second, right? So that really is a quick and easy way to go for it. Now the other way you can do this here is you can add 30% for mining efficiency and see what that figure equals to. If it's 4.7, you're exactly the same. And you're going to see that this is getting quite interesting very quickly. So let's go with it. So when you add 30% to 600, that gives you 780. Now this is base level stats. There's a reason why I'm going with this here first, and you'll figure it out later down the line for the video. And that is going to be divided by 180 seconds, and that gives me 4.33. So the efficiency is less effective than the efficiency booster, but not by a lot. You actually just have a 4 to reduce it by. The next boost that you go down is actually going to reduce you in circulation if you just take circulation by less than 30%. The reason for this here is quite complicated, but I will go for it in a little bit when I explain it. So it takes you down to 107 seconds. That means that this loss isn't a complete 20% to this figure. It's not even good enough to count as being crazy. And this makes your efficiency at this point 5.6. Now obviously this year already explained to you that efficiency wasn't going to win overall. And obviously with that there being said, you're going to have to mix efficiency and circulation to get your bonuses. So 5.6 is what you would get if you had 2 circulation rigs. Circulation wins on the first one, so we will always keep a circulation on our ships. So we will drop back to 126. So 126 seconds, and we will do the 780. Now that means 1 circulation, 1 efficiency. This gives you a total of 6.19. 6.19 is a big increase. 6.19 with 2 rigs versus wait, let me just redo that. I actually forgot what the other one was. I'm actually doing this here on a calculator. I used to do this here mentally all the time, but it's quite stressing. 5.6. 6.1 versus 5.6. Now all of a sudden efficiency became more necessary. The fact that efficiency gave you a boost in your overall timing is what really changed everything up for you as a player. It is what's giving you your general ability to fight back in the close quarters format of the game. Okay, so let's move on from there. So we've got 2 down. Now the third one is kind of a heavy reduction, and you're not gonna like this here. So this is 2 reductions in time at 107. So if I'm gonna do this here, as I already explained, circulation plus efficiency, 107 And the next thing that we're going to do is going to put a circulation, an efficiency, and then a circulation again. Circulation has the better result, and therefore logically it gives you the best result in the end. So you get 780 at 107, and this would be the very best that you can get. 7.2 cubic meters per second, and if you times that by 10, I'll give you what's your minute cubics. Your minute cubics is 72 a minute, so 72 cubic meters a minute. It's not what it should be. That's because I times it by 10. I need to times it by 6 as well. My mistake. It's 437 a minute. So 437 is what comes in every single minute. If you count your original 3 minutes at this rate, it will be times 3 to this here, and that gives you 1312. Now your ship's natural affinity for increasing its efficiency will not take a negative on the stance. It's actually going to give you a massive positive in the next figure that you're going to try and figure out for yourself. So let me give you a reason for this here. All of these figures currently show you that efficiency cannot be the supreme leader overall. At the second one, it lost in efficiency. It wasn't gathering as much as efficiency plus circulation. We already know that circulation had the bigger bonus. And obviously, if we went with another one where we're comparing them from the exact same point with the exact same penalty, the figures don't add up. Now, obviously, I gave them both the same amount in penalty. The penalties may differ from what I'm talking about because penalties were adjusted in the past in the game, and my figure on the penalty may be incorrect. And the difference in time that we're talking about is 3 seconds. May not seem like a lot to you, but it will make a big difference in those figures. And regardlessly, a 3 second down against 6.7, 6.2 might mean something like 6.2 versus 5.8. That is a 0.4 difference between the two harvestings. And it's not really so significant that you can count it as a do-all end-all for mining. Now, beyond this, there is something else which makes a difference. That is the efficiency of your skills. So we can go over this here again. It increases it by 100%. So your efficiency of your miner for strip mining at the highest level will increase from 600 to 1200. Now this makes a big difference to the increases that come in from efficiency and from the differences that come in from time. But they still will win exactly where they were. So you divide it by 180 to get a reference to how much you're harvesting per second, and that's 6.6. If anything reduces that, then it's a big negative, and I will increase this here as appropriate. So this here will become 1560 for the efficiency increase, and that will give me a total of 8.6. Now obviously on that same path I need to go back to 1200, and I need to reduce it to 126, and let's see what happens. Does anybody have a guess which one is going to be greater? This is 9.5. So we already know it beat efficiency again. So 9.5, and we're just going to test it again with the efficiency. Let's see what happens when we mix efficiency plus circulation. Remember, these always work out the best because there is a penalty being added. Even if the penalty isn't as substantial as I'm making it out to be, it does add up to you in the end when you go all the way to the max, because you're getting less than your value and it does hurt you overall. So now with efficiency and circulation, we get 12.38. We already know that circulation is better, so let's just double check whether it was the best right through. So 126 reduced to 107, and that gives me 11.2. So yes, efficiency was winning this year overall. Let's knock the time down by 7 seconds, and let's see where it gives me. It gives me 12. Does this make a difference to anything? No, I'm still higher with efficiency, and at 12 I am almost reducing it by a very small figure. If I had to reduce this time even more, and let's say that I went for a perfect 30 on this here, that would be a big difference. then obviously a mining circulation would win out against efficiency. It will only win in the third phase, where the penalty will definitely be 50%, because we know that after the third, the fourth is always 0 when it comes to these penalties that they add in EVE. So yeah, so you end up reducing your efficiency all the way to 0 if you go beyond 3 of any item, in case anybody didn't know that. Alright, so obviously we're gonna go back down to the previous ratio where I would have had 107, and I will give you the 156. There is a reason why I'm not giving you the final figure with the efficiency added. We already know that we had the best when it came to 2 rigs put together, being efficiency plus circulation for 2 rigs. So the third will obviously have to supersede what 2 was. So that takes us all the way up to the final, which is circulation, efficiency, circulation. So there's 3 because we're taking in the penalty into the situation. You could have added range to it, but that is pointless because that just means you move less. There isn't anything else that really affects mining enough to consider it to be crucially important, or to be so important that you have to sacrifice any part of your gameplay for it. So yeah, there's the basics on this. I do know that you get combination mods. Combination mods basically are these special mods that allow you to combine mods before you actually fit them onto a ship, and generally you will always use that type of information. As I said, 2 generally always works out very close to the original. Mixing 1 plus 1 is always the best, because your penalties are meant to make sure that you don't just use one mod over and over and over again on your ships. And especially with something like minor circulation, if you lose even that 10% to your total gains when it comes to putting on mods onto your ship, you really are taking a massive loss. And let me explain to you why. The mining efficiency mod is 12 million. The minor circulation mod is 112 million. Considering there is a 100 million difference, if you even get 0.01 difference between the two, you go with the one that's more cheap, because that makes a difference to you, because you are gaining 0.1 on your other mod option and you are saving 100 million. Overall, you will only save 100 million from your total investment. Now, someone said by math it works out much better, and yes, theoretically it does work out much better, because if you take out 30% each time, 126 minus 30%, I'll give you what that figure is, divided by 100 times 30, it would give you 88.2 seconds. That's a massive decrease if you're actually going with a complete 30% reduction. And obviously when you go further, the reductions get more crazy. So let's go 88.2. So 88.2 minus 88.2 divided by 100 times 30. And on a calculator, this tells me that finally you get 61 seconds or 62 seconds to a full recovery of all that you could harvest. Now, it may seem like a very good situation at that level, but it isn't going to last throughout the entire situation for you. No matter how hard you try, this is never going to be your final situation when it comes to finishing everything off, because penalties hit. One of them is taking a 50% knock, regardless of anything that you have to say. So if you go back to 88 and you reduce that figure to minus 15, your figure that you end up with at the end is something like 75 seconds. Now, 75 seconds isn't the final knock, because there's still another knock that needs to be added into it, and someone explained that they can circulate in 77 seconds, so this might be quite close to the fact that things have changed a lot. So yeah, let me just do this here quickly and give you a quick idea on this here. 88.2 seconds. So this here would be 1200 divided by 88.2. That'll give me an answer of 13 rocks per second. And let me increase that figure to the 5.6. Remember, this is 2 mods. And the figure there will become 17.58. Now, 17.68 is what we're going at. Let's reduce this to 1200. And let's change that figure to 77, since somebody did explain that that's where the efficiency was. 15.5. Yeah, it still loses. Unfortunately, even at maximum efficiency, it still loses when it comes to that final one, because that's the only one I'm 100% sure about. The massive penalty for taking on too much when it comes to the efficiency coeffective of your ship. That's the only part which I can be 100% assertive on when it comes to knowing the amount of penalty you're going to take. Everything else is just a major amount of deliberation on my part. So let me just explain a little bit further why it's a major deliberation and not 100% the facts behind the matter. The reason is the penalties have changed. At one point, it was a 12.5% penalty when you double. At another point, it was a 25% when you double. So 25% versus 12.5 is a massive difference in total. The one is that you only get a 75% of whatever your percentage was. So 30% divided by 4 will tell you what you are losing, right? That 4 is what you lost from it. And when you do that there, you get something close to 8% being knocked off. So it was a massive knock. It did pull you down quite heavily. And it could be even heavier, because at one point they were talking about increasing those negatives. And obviously at that point, when you increase something by a 30% efficiency, straight up 20 versus 30 never ever wins. And that is one of the weird things for people to think about. If you can't afford your tier 3 circulation rigs, you might as well just go with an efficiency and a lower level circulation rig. It will work out cheaper for you overall, and it will equal a lot cheaper of a total ship for you. Also, your efficiency is through the roof when it comes to using efficiency mods instead of using simple civilian mods. Okay, so let's move on to the next part of all the insanity that comes with farming resources and all of the little bits that need to be added up when it comes to it. Now, a lot of people talk about their difference in time for harvesting. If you go into a belt and you harvest a complete belt in nullsec, in highsec it isn't really such a big problem. In nullsec, you might see that there's a difference in time between each of your fill-ups for your ship. And this is quite simple. It's not about the density of the belt or how many asteroids are within range. It's the density of the asteroid that is within range. Example, if you are harvesting Scordite, it might not be all that difficult for you to fill up. If you are harvesting Valspar, you will harvest to the efficiency of your mining stripper, because that is what its maximum efficiency that's what the maximum efficiency is meant for. And with that there, you're going to get a very quick fill up on your individual pieces. So yeah, that's what you have for a total. It is going to make things a lot faster for you overall. So that is something that you need to consider as an individual. If you really want that small little 5 and 10% increases for your total gameplay, you need to think about it. And yeah, this is also almost at its end. So I'm also going to have to end this. Yeah, I don't want to overshoot that time. When it comes to those little results at the end of the day, those are the numbers that you have to think about. A lot of people don't try to knock out the penalties. The reason is if you ignore the penalties on the items, or if the penalties aren't functioning for a period because of some glitch in the system, you win big time. Example, if you have shield efficiency, if you double your shield efficiency, the shield is super powerful. But if you do one shield efficiency, one booster, it doesn't seem like it's a big difference. But it does help you in the long run, things like that for ships. Same thing with mining. If you go with the full circulation and the penalty doesn't apply, you win. You're going to beat the 17 that I said that you're getting per second. Then too, there is also subjective. Because you're increasing the amount you're yielding in a shorter period of time, you could actually do far better than what I'm saying. It's as I'm saying, it's subjective. There is no way to verify it in one way or the other. Okay. There is some stuff that I still have to go over. I know there's some stuff that I still have to go over. This isn't going to be easy to go over, but yeah. For mining, there's still a few things to talk about, and that is your rig placement. If you're going to compare a T3 versus a T6, you're not going to get the same result. If you're going to compare a T9 versus a T9, yeah, you're going to get a equal result on both sides. But if you're going to harvest Veldspar versus Dark Cordite, you're going to get two very different sides. If you're going to do Bistot versus Veldspar, your results are going to look vastly different. You could have 3 efficiencies and mine Veldspar and you'll win. You could have 3 circulations and mine Bistot and you would look like your ship has no efficiency whatsoever. The more valuable your belt is, the more the punishment is going to fall on you. You're going to take a massive knock each time you take on those types of things. It's something for you to consider as a player. It's something that does add up down the line for you as an individual. It could be very negative. It could be minorly negative. Those are some of the things you have to think about. And yeah, that's going to play your end of day results for you for mining. So think about it before you go and you fit up a ship. You can fit up a ship for a billion ISK, right? That's 3 circulation, 3 rigs, right? That's 100 million plus 100 million plus 100 million plus the 12 million, which is there. That's 360 million. Then you can go and you can dig along the market for something crazy, something rare, like an ion stripper, which is super rare if anybody still has one. Let me just check if any are on the market, because I know that it was being given away in the start of the game. I don't know if any of them ever made their way back onto the market. No, I don't think so. Nah, they definitely aren't here. Okay, so there aren't any special strippers anymore. You only get up to MK9. And if you do have one of the more special ones, like the Iron Stripper, if you're one of those lucky people who open the package in the start of the game and you actually hung onto the Iron Stripper, you would have the possibility to do 655 doubled. That will mean that you will have 1,310. When you increase it by the efficiency of 30%, that gives you a bigger figure. Your circulation increases it by a bigger figure. And your entire rig becomes much more expensive. In terms of your internal grid, depending on what you're going to put on for engineering, you can also end up with 100 million per slot. Example, if you go auxiliary thruster 3 is to give you a little bit faster of a ship, so that your mining happens with that slightest bit speed quicker, so you are more efficient. So yeah, you can go auxiliary thruster, auxiliary thruster, auxiliary thruster. That's 3 of them. You could go polycarbon engine for faster turning. You could go warp speed increase, whatever it is. But regardless, it's going to increase you by another 300 million. That pulls up the value of your rigs to somewhere close to the mark of 700 million when added together. Then your fittings on your ship, you can go afterburners or you can go micro warp drives. You can go with weapons to keep yourself a little bit more stable. You can go with shields. all of this here makes a big difference to your costing, and you can have a 1 billion ISK Covetor 3. Covetor. And this is a big difference because you get 72,000 to your filling up of your hole in total, or you get 3 strip miners. It does make a difference, but it doesn't make enough of a difference to be worthy of you going that way. It's something that I had to bring up in all of this here. That does increase those figures from something like 437 per a single minute in what you're gaining. You could be gaining something like 600, or you could be gaining even greater than 600, closer to 1200, reducing that entire time to less than a minute's worth of mining, because you had a high efficiency with a super high figure. You're beating the MK9 downright, and that's the way that it goes. The bigger your mining amount, the better it is for you. The shorter your activation time, the better it is for you. The wider your range, the less you have to move, the better it is for you as well. And the bigger mining range can be a negative to you against a smaller mining range. The reason for that is if you are mining in a small little channel on a single item, it could beat it for you. Increasing your mining range to hit something like Valspar might reduce the value of what you're earning, but fill your hold faster. So you would complete, say for example, Asteroid Belt with a Covetor in less than 15 minutes. Right? Sounds really far-fetched, but with maximum efficiency and all the right rigs, 15 minutes an entire belt is in. And then you can increase that even further, and you could pull in an entire belt in 25 minutes, but the difference in value will be your massive haul was worth 10 million or maybe 7 million, and your second haul, which took 25 minutes, was worth something closer to 20 million. And looking at those two figures, you double the figure that you earned, but you didn't double the time. The efficiency wasn't there for time, but the efficiency was there in material cost. So you got much more expensive materials. You made a massive win at the end of the day, and that's how it went for you on the market. Hopefully that makes some sense, and I will catch you all in the next one. So those are the reasons why you should always go 2 circulations and 1 efficiency on the mining. I would have shown it to you on the test server if it were possible at this point, but it's a bit difficult for me to get on at the moment because it's still experiencing the past glitch. It needs to be fixed before I can get on. So see you all in the next one. Have a good day.